I quit the Europe program. For those of you guys who are unaware of what the Europe program is just a 1-year career developmental program that prepares urban young adults for a corporate environment. It accepts young business professionals within the age of 18 to 24, and it just provides you with a foundation to obtain a job, and with that job, pursue a career. It caters to the business and IT path of learning and academics. So if you are interested in business and IT, this might be a program that appeals to you. It is in a select few states. So I know one of their locations is in Boston. I want to say another is in Georgia, specifically Atlanta. I want to say another location is in Tampa. Of course, my location was in Jacksonville, Florida. There's also another location in California. So there's select few locations, but they're in some of the major cities that hold the United States' highest populations of urban young adults. So yeah, the program definitely is an amazing program. As for my site, it was less than exemplary of the program and its actual message, but I am so appreciative that I did come across the year program for the simple fact that it made me aware of the actual jobs that are available to people who are in the age range of 18 and 19. Majority of our partnered companies that are associated with Europe and provide urban young adults with this job opportunity and these internship opportunities are corporations and businesses like Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, Amazon, JEA, that's an electric company here at Jacksonville. So it's associated with a lot of well-known businesses. And like I said, with these partnerships, you get an internship and you have the possibility of being converted into that company and having a job and pursuing a career for yourself. Europe is not here to give you a career. Europe is not here to cater to your career. It's just here to provide you with a foundation to start your career, to have a job. And based on how you handle your job, that will definitely determine whether or not you pursue a career that is fulfilling for you or you pursue a career that is successful for you. I say this to say there are a lot of people that join this program, like myself, who are young entrepreneurs, and they're joining this program because they know this program caters to business administration, but they are unaware of the fact that although it caters to business administration and the business path, it caters to more of the financial service, client care specialist aspect of business. Majority of the internship opportunities are entry-level positions, which are call center jobs, which may require you to be in an inbound call center or an outbound call center, or both an inbound and outbound call center. It also, for the IT students, I know for sure many of my classmates or my peers were placed in call centers. So it is a very rigorous and routine and strict environment when you are on internship, especially if you are interning with a bank and you're doing IT, because a lot of your work is strictly assisting those who are having IT troubles over the phone. And for those who are doing business, it's assisting those who are having issues with whatever you're specializing in. So you may be specializing in collections, fraud, home loans, or small businesses like myself. So it just depends on what you're doing. But getting back to what I was saying, basically it provides you with a job. It doesn't provide you with a career. I'm going to use myself for example. I am an entrepreneur. I joined this program because I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to develop my entrepreneurial skills and recognize my strengths and my growth areas so that I can be a better businesswoman. And I joined the program for those reasons. Joining this program, I thought that it would assist me in my journey, but it really push me to a job as opposed to developing my skills so that I can pursue a career. So say if you are an individual who joins the program and you already have a business or you want to start a business selling eyelashes, you can be in the business path and you can want to sell your eyelashes, and you may be selling your eyelashes and you just want to do this program so that you can have a bigger network. But in the grand scheme of things, you have to understand that although you're doing business and you have your own business or you want to have your own business, or even it may be that you have your own business idea, it's not going to cater to that. It's not going to cater to that eyelash company directly, because their jobs provide you an opportunity to work in a financial institution doing home loans or mortgages or fraud or collections. It's not teaching you how to find vendors or how to get the best quality of lashes and what a mink lash is and what a synthetic lash is. Like, it's not teaching you your specific trade. It's just providing you with a job opportunity. Europe provides you with a job. That is all it's here to do. That is the only opportunity that it is really here to do for you. Of course, it's here to expand your perspective of life and yourself and your opportunities and what you can do. But ultimately, through this job, you're able to do that. Through this experience to obtain this job, you're able to expand your perspective. So just understand that when you join the program, it's not necessarily going to cater to you. It is a very cut and dry program. Business, IT, put you where you belong, pretty much. So yeah, doing this program, we had 6 months of learning and development, and then the second 6 months of internship. And while on learning and development, I felt like we didn't learn anything at my site. I attended the Jacksonville site for Europe at the Florida State College at Jacksonville downtown location, and I don't feel like I learned anything. I was a part of Class 8, so if you ever encounter any students from Class 8, maybe you can ask them of their perspective and of their experience. But for me, I didn't feel like I learned anything pertaining to the trade that I was expected to know on internship. Like I said, I was placed in home loans and I was dealing with home equity line of credits and mortgages. And during learning and development, I wasn't taught that. During boot camp, I wasn't taught that. For learning and development, I ultimately was taught how to advocate the brand and advocate my brand, but I wasn't taught how to be successful in internship.
Good evening. My name is Lamaya Austin McKnight. I'm a part of Europe's Gold Standard, studying business administration at Florida State College at Jacksonville. I really enjoy this experience because I'm able to be a part of something purposeful. I'm fulfilling my own purpose by moving with a purpose in mind. A strength that makes me a valuable attribute would have to be my wisdom. Through my many life experiences, I've been able to develop a sense of inter and intrapersonal skills that allow me to understand not only myself but others. And what I'm looking for right now is happiness in its purest form. I feel as though once I am truly happy, I will be fully accomplished, successful, and fulfilled. Um, yeah, well, it was a pleasure meeting you. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to ask. If you would like to, I can give you a business card with all my contact information and you can reach me at your convenience. Is that okay? All right, here, you go. Have a nice day. Hello, my name is Lamaya Austin McKnight, and I attend Florida State College at Jacksonville. I'm also a part of the program called Europe, and through my many trials and tribulations, I've learned that you must find a way when the path isn't clear and make a way when the path is not given. It was nice meeting you. Again, my name is Lamaya Austin McKnight. Have a beautiful day.
I really learned how to do my role and how to be a frontline client care specialist by getting the OJT and the training from the bank that I was interning at. Europe didn't prepare me for my internship. I feel personally. This is my experience. This is my perspective. This is how I experienced the whole Europe process. And for me, learning and development did not teach me how to do the trade that I was signed up for. It taught me how to advocate the brand. We learned how to shake hands. We learned how to do 7-second resumes. We learned how to look people in the eye. We learned how to interact in a corporate environment, but we didn't learn how to do the trade of our environment. And of course, that is a good thing to polish up on, but it's not something that you should focus on for 6 months. Especially for myself, not saying like I'm this shallow being, but for me, growing up, I grew up with a lot of women in my life. I grew up with a lot of Southern women in my life, and they always just taught me how to articulate myself and how to carry myself when in a public, professional, corporate environment. You know, yes ma'am, no ma'am. A lot of things were due to Southern hospitality, but a lot of things were just due to their experience within those environments and as young Black women during their time. So they taught me a lot of how to carry myself like a young lady, or how to carry myself like the young lady that I am, if that makes any sense. So a lot of the things that were taught during learning and development were very repetitive for me because it was stuff that I already knew. I already knew how to say, you know, good morning, and how to have small talk, and how to advocate myself and my thoughts and my ideas. So what they were telling us was really pointless and just time fillers from my perspective. So while in internship, a lot of things that were uncertain during learning and development became very certain and very clear. There were a lot of things that happened during learning and development that were very secretive. A lot of things were very secret and sacred between the administrative team and the advisors that were assisting the students. A lot of things the students did not know. A lot of things that were suggested by the students during Plus Delta, where we basically tell our where we basically give our feedback on what was good that week and what was bad that week. A lot of things were heard, but nothing was being listened to and acted upon. There were times where I would ask a question and I would be answered with a question. So learning and development was really just a time of following blindly. You had no other reference or no other reason to not believe what you were being told, to not trust the process, because you didn't know what you were getting yourself into. You knew that you were going to do internship. You knew that you were going to be at a partnered bank. You knew that you had an opportunity to be converted and to have a job. You knew that you had an opportunity to get articulated credits. You knew the opportunities, but you didn't know what it took to get them. You didn't know what your job was going to be. You didn't know what your pay was going to be like. You didn't know what department you were going to be in. You didn't know which partnered company you were going to be a part of. You didn't know what you were getting yourself into during internship. So there were a lot of things that were just very froggy during learning and development, and unnecessary during learning and development, that I wish they would have just advocated to us directly and spoken to us directly. Like for the call center work, a lot of us were not expecting to be in that environment. For my department, especially the pay, they always advocated to us that we would make $18 an hour or more. The least would be $16 an hour. And we weren't making that in my department. In my department, as of what is today? May 2nd, 2019, we were only making $15.50 an hour. The home loan department was only making $15.50 an hour, and that's not what was advocated to us by our European advisors. And they always say that they can change your pay or fix your pay, but irregardless, we're basically signing up for a job. So it's like going to take, for example, me, I work at Old Navy. So it's like going to Old Navy and saying, hey, so I did an internship with you guys, or I did some workshops with you guys, and because I did that workshop, let's see if we can negotiate a higher pay. That's not how it works. They can't negotiate a higher pay, at least from my department within home loans, because the management wouldn't allow it, you know? So it was just something that you either accepted or you didn't. So yeah, like I said, learning and development was very froggy. There were a lot of things that were not entirely true. And I feel like because they were not entirely true, or because they were only telling us half the truth, it was a whole lie, basically. A lot of our experiences, I feel like, were a little bit longer than they should have been, because a lot of things were not told to us directly. A lot of our experience was indirect. A lot of our interactions with our Europe advisor and with our Europe team was only momentarily. We only interacted with our advisors, with our coaches, with our team, the gold standard and blue chip, for like 45 minutes out of our day each day. And then while internship, we only interacted with our whole internship group during seminar for 2 hours out of our day. So we really didn't have a relationship like what is seen on the Instagram pages and during these meet and greets, like it is portrayed. Not saying that students don't have a good relationship with the administrative team, because I know I had a good relationship with my coach. So I had a good relationship with certain administrative members because of my personal networking and talking to them and interactions with them. But there are just certain people that you don't see, and then when you do see them, it's kind of like you want to build a relationship, but it's a little too late to do that. So now we're just pretending like we know each other, and we don't. And let me stop alluding, but what I'm saying is, for learning and development, we had our coach, we had our site director, and then we had a few other administrative members who were coaches as well. And if they weren't coaches, they were just fulfilling their role within the Europe corporation program site. So I had a coach. My coach was a male, and I was very close to him. He was a really good man, and he really understood me, and he really listened to me. I think the only issue that I had with him was the fact that he was so passive, and because he was so passive, he wasn't able to be assertive enough for his coachees. And there were also the site leader director, and then during internship we got introduced further to our internship, I don't even know what he was, our internship leader, advisor, administrator. And he was a male. He was a familiar face to us, but he wasn't familiar enough to be personal with, at least for me. I know there were a few students who knew him and who were associated with him, but for the majority of us students, we were introduced to him during internship. And going back to the whole family interaction and this personable environment that was displayed during the the Garrett for Europes and the Saturday workshops, it wasn't exactly entirely true, because we just met that man during internship. We really just started to get to know him during internship. So I don't know, I feel like I segued into that, and I don't really know where I was going with that. But what I'm basically getting to is the fact that there were just a lot of people that were introduced to us at weird moments within our Europe journey that should have been introduced to us during the beginning of our journey. So there were a lot of monumental figures and influential figures in our life that were introduced to us a little too late and should have been more more personal with us during the beginning of our journey. So yeah. Also, another reason for me leaving my site, and another truth about the Europe program, it is a very judgmental culture, if you ask me. From my perspective, like I said, this is my experience, this is my perspective, and the environment is very judgmental, only because your advisors, your coaches, everybody who is on the Europe team, who was a part of Gold Standard, who was a part of Blue Chip, they're coming together on each side, or one side or the other, and they're going through the list of children that remained for the end of the 6 months of learning and development, and they're basically choosing where you're going for internship. And the only way that they're able to make these decisions, and the only way that they're able to choose you, is due to their reflection on the 6 months during learning and development. So basically, the way that they were able to make their decision was by reflecting on the 6-month process, which was the whole 6 months of learning and development, and looking at each individual, recognizing their strengths, recognizing their weaknesses, and either catering to their weaknesses and putting them in an easy spot, or catering to their strengths and putting them into a spot that worked well with them. Ultimately, I feel like their decision making for my site came down to conversions. They understood that there were a lot of students that had really good qualities, but there were also a lot of students that had a lot of growth areas, a lot of growth that was still visible even at the end of our 6 months. So they either had a choice to cater to those weaknesses and place them in an area that would be accommodating to their growth areas, or they had the responsibility and the opportunity to cater to these students' growth areas and assist them in making them their strengths. But instead, they, from my perspective and from my point of view, they cater to the weaknesses of each individual and place them in an area that was the most accommodating for that person's weakness. Like, for example, we had certain people that come from different backgrounds. We have certain people that speak other languages, and we have certain people that have a very heavy Southern accent. So, like I said, being that a lot of the jobs were call center jobs, they were not going to get those jobs, especially an inbound call center job. They were not going to get an inbound call center position. They were going to get the few positions that they had within data entry, where they just enter numbers and streets and just do that for their 8 hours of internship. So instead of catering to that individual's weakness and providing them with the adequate assistance, they place them somewhere easy. And for me, because I was a little more articulate, and I'm not saying like I'm the best, speech giver, and I'm the best at talking, and I just am a Webster dictionary in a woman's body. Like, no, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that, being that I recognize where my positioning was within the 60 students that we had, or the 80 students that we had, I knew that I was pretty articulate, and I was one of Europe's strongest students based upon the many rigorous tests that they would give us within learning and development. One of the rigorous tests that they would give us would be like Professional Olympics, where they would have us bring in our resume and talk about our skills and our qualities and why we would want to work at our potential internship site. They would just do little simulations and just little things that would reveal to them who was the strongest and who was the weakest. And being that I was a bit more articulate, and being that I proved to be a very strong individual throughout the whole 6-month process, they placed me in home loans in an inbound call center. And the only reason why they placed me there, of course, is because I was articulate, as well as because it was a new relationship with the bank and the program, and they wanted to keep that relationship strong. The home equity line of credit department didn't come to Jacksonville until 3 years ago, and it didn't connect with the Europe program until a year ago. So for my class, I was class 8, and that was the second year that they were sending interns over there. The first set of interns were class 7, the second set were class 8, and basically they just sent me over there to be an example of what Europe has to offer and what Europe could be. That's what I felt, because of all the content clues that were alluding to that notion that I believe. So like I said, the culture was very judgmental and a bit subjective, just because you have advisors and administrators basically judging you like you would see on American Idol or X Factor or even Survival. Like, they were just a group of people, a group of adults judging your skills and your qualities. So that is one thing that kind of prompted me to want to leave the program, but because of the opportunities that I presume would be presented to me during internship and after internship, I just decided to stick with the program and trust the process.